Yokoso washitare. Welcome back yet again. And to be honest, I still am not sure if that's actually how somebody would say something to the equivalent of welcome in classical Japanese, but one of the benefits of studying a dead language that very few people on the face of the planet can actually speak means that there aren't many who can tell me I'm wrong. Conversely, there aren't many who can tell me I'm right, so if I am wrong, I basically just have to continue being wrong, and nobody is going to be there to point out that I am wrong, so I'm just going to stew in wrongness for the rest of my life. Okay, let's not get too existential here. But anyway, if you like classical Japanese, and if you like classical Japanese culture, and if you like classical Japanese literature, then please like this video. But anyway, let's just get right into the story. Once upon a time, Imawa Mukashi, in the reign of Emperor Daigo. This doesn't have anything to do with Street Fighter, calm down. But in the reign of Emperor Daigo, there was a legendary Go player by the name of Kanren. And already we've got several things that we have to point out. Number one, what the heck is Go? Go is a popular board game that was popular all throughout East Asia in ancient times. Probably still is a little bit today. You have a board with a grid on it, and you have these stones, one side of which is white, the other side of which is black. And you strategically place your stones, and you try to outdo your opponent, and I'm not entirely sure how it works. I've never actually played it, but it's a competitive strategy game, kinda similar to chess, but not really, because it's its own thing. So, the main character of this story is a professional at this board game, at Go. He was amazing at it. They specifically refer to him as a Gosei, and if you know anything, if you've ever played like For Honor, and you've heard the term Kensei, you know that the second character means saint, or somebody who's really good at something. Somebody who's so amazing at a thing that they're just unparalleled, unrivaled at it. However, there's a little bit of a discrepancy. In the original source that I'm using, actually in a couple of different sources, the original wording says that there are two priests. Specifically, the main character is a Buddhist priest who's also really good at Go. But it says that there are two priests, Kanren and Gosei. Now, one of the sources that I use to look some of this stuff up says that there aren't actually two priests, and I did find it weird because in the course of the story, we only learn about Kanren, one of these supposed two priests. And one of the sources that I was looking into explains that whoever originally wrote this down wrote the wrong character for Sei, and because of that, they interpreted Gosei as the name of another person and not as an expert in Go. And so thus, the story in the original writing says that there are two priests when there really aren't two priests, which actually makes sense because there's only ever one priest that's ever talked about here. And that is all to say, yet again, ancient Japanese is really flippin' weird. Okay? It doesn't make sense a lot of the time. And then one final thing. The name Kanren, today we would pronounce it Kanren. However, if you look in the olden times, the way they wrote it with the hiragana to help you figure out how to pronounce it, they would have said Ku-wan-ren, Kwanren. Because apparently they did that in the old days. They don't do that anymore. Don't know why that fell out of favor. That's actually a historical thing that we're not going to get into today. But just know that, yes, because I'm putting a hiragana here and it says ku-wan-den, that's intentional. That's not a mistake. Just so we're on the same page there. But anyway, back to the actual story. Kanren was super amazing at this board game. And not only that, but he was a nobleman too. He came from a prestigious lineage. Specifically, he was from the Tachibana clan, which features actually in a couple of other videos that we have. But needless to say, the Tachibana were no commoners. They were high class, they were nobility, and Kanren originally came from them. And as such, he was one of the premier priests for the emperor. Like, he would come to the palace grounds and do Buddhist stuff for the emperor himself. And through this, Kanren was actually also really good friends with the emperor because the emperor himself was a big fan of the game of Go. And so, Kanren, when he would come to the palace all the time to do Buddhist services and whatever he was going to do, he and the emperor would end up playing a game of Go or two together. And they had a bit of a friendly rivalry, but even though the emperor himself was really, really good at the game, he still just couldn't match Kanren. Kanren was just so amazing at this. He was unrivaled, one of the best in the realm. And the emperor always lost to him. But one day, when Kanren was at the palace hanging out with the emperor and they're playing Go as usual, the emperor decided that he wanted to make things a little more interesting. So he got a pillow. Now I want to point out something. The ancient Japanese pillows, the makura is specifically the word that is used, they were not like our pillows. Our pillows are just a, massive, soft, cottony, feathery, whatever the heck is inside them. It's just a big ball of soft is basically what it is. Ancient Japanese pillows were not like that. They were usually some sort of a wooden structure, and they were fairly high too, as you'll see in some of these pictures that I'll be putting up. And then on top of this little wooden structure, then they would put some kind of a padding, some sort of a cloth padded something or other. But the emperor decided that to make the game a little more interesting, he was going to bet a golden pillow that he had. I'm assuming it was one of those like stands, and it was made out of pure gold. And he decided he was going to bet this, and if Kanren could win, then Kanren could get this golden pillow. The golden pillow. You promised the most succulent, delightful dreams on it. I mean, it's gold. Like, come on, bro. And Kanren accepted, and they began playing their game of Go as usual. And as usual, Kanren won. No surprises there. So the emperor says, well, that's fair. You won. I did put this up as a bet. Here's your golden pillow, sir. Kanren probably said something, thank you, your majesty. Now I will be going. And Kanren left the premises just like usual. However, the emperor wasn't actually done. Because even though he lost fair and square, and it was his idea to bet the pillow, he really liked that pillow. So he called a bunch of his young, hot-blooded men, specifically that's what it uses the term isamu. Isamu, right? That's what it is. Which means brave, spirited, strong, manly. And they were also young. It says, wakaki denjo bito no isami nuru. So, denjo bito means noblemen, high-ranking noblemen. Wakaki means young, and isami nuru means to be manly, spirited, strong, gallant. So basically, he got some of the younger, sturdier, rowdier boys who were still part of the nobility, because, it's the emperor, we're not going to rely on those filthy peasants, But anyway, he gets some of these young, rowdy boys, and he says, hey guys, the monk Kanren has made off with one of my pillows, a golden pillow. Now, I don't want you to hurt him, but I want you to get it back for me. Can you do that? And they said, yes, your majesty. And they ran off, they found Kanren, they cornered him, and they said, hey, give us that golden pillow you got. The emperor wants it back. And Kanren, being a Buddhist priest, and being outmatched, and not wanting to fight because whatever, he hands the pillow back, and the young men take it back to the emperor, and that ends that. But this didn't happen just once. The next time Kanren came to play Go with the emperor, same thing happened. He bet the pillow, he lost, Kanren took it, and then the emperor sent a bunch of young men to go get it back. And then the next time, the same thing happened. And again, and again, and again. And this became somewhat of a ritual. Kanren would go to the palace, he would defeat the emperor in a game of Go, he would get a golden pillow, and then he would leave, and then the emperor would send men to go get it and bring it back. Until one day, like usual, they do their thing, and Kanren is leaving with this pillow. The emperor sends some young men out to go get him, and as these young men are approaching, Kanren is passing by a well in the Kisaki Machi, which is somewhere in the palace grounds, but I don't know what it is about wells. But he's passing by this well, he sees the young men coming for him like usual, he takes the pillow out from his robes, because he was keeping it in his robes, and he throws it in the well. And this makes the young men stop and go, oh, shoot, what do we do? And then in the confusion, Kanren picks himself up and he runs. He just tears on off out of there. The young men leave, and they come back a little bit later with some more people, and they go down into the well, and they get the pillow because the emperor needs his pillow back. That's why he sent you out to go get it. And they draw the pillow up and come to find out that this is not actually the pillow. This is a wooden pillow with some gold foil wrapped around it. It wasn't actually the solid gold pillow that the emperor had given Kanren. This was a fake. And it was at that point that the young men knew they had been duped. Because Kanren, he had made a fake pillow that looked just like the original and foiled it in gold and threw that into the well and had made off with the actual pillow. And then not long after that, Kanren actually had this pure gold pillow broken down and he sold it in order to help build a temple on the eastern fringes of the complex of Ninwaji, a temple that he eventually called the Mirokuji, or the Temple of Maitreya. The Temple of Miroku. Now, of course, the young men had to go back to the emperor and report what happened, and they did just that. They probably were a little concerned that the emperor might be upset with them, but as soon as the emperor heard this, he just laughed, good-naturedly, and he said, oh, man, that scoundrel, he got me. What a clever trick he did. What a clever, clever trick. And given the fact that the emperor played a game of wits with Kanren all the time, all he could probably do was just be like, dang, he beat me in Go, he beat me in wits in other ways too. What a guy. And it's great because the emperor was just good-natured about this whole thing, and that was great, and good on Kanren for, doing what he did, or is it good because, I can't decide this. Maybe you guys can help me decide the morality of all this. Obviously, it's not a huge deal, oh my gosh, there's one less gold pillow in the world. Who cares? But, Kanren won this pillow fair and square, multiple times. But the Emperor didn't actually want to give it up. Maybe the Emperor just wanted some entertainment. So was Kanren right in tricking the Emperor like this? Is this theft? I don't think it's theft, but it kind of feels like theft. But then he went and he used it to build a Buddhist temple, which is an institution for good, I guess. Better than just it being the golden pillow of the Emperor. I don't know. I don't know the morality on this one. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about it, but whatever you guys think, please let me know in the comments, because I don't know, that's what comments are for. And also because this time around, I don't actually have a lot in the way of commentary. Commentary, what am I, British? So that's gonna be it for now. That's the story, short, sweet, and to the point. So, if you want to hear more stories in the same vein as this, or you want to keep up on what my little projects are, because I do plan on doing some more sometime in the future, don't know when, please feel free to subscribe as well. So thank you for listening. Ito katejike no koso haberikere. Again, I don't know if that's actually right, but until one of the handful of people in the world comes and tells me that it's wrong and I should say something different, that's what I'm sticking with. And with that all being said, I will see you in the next one. Later.